Hey y'all, Jasmine Lynn from Southern Gals Bliss, here with a quick ad. Might I be so bold as to ask you a question? Well, technically I just did. But my real question is, have you ever considered starting your own podcast? Are you stuck on what podcast hosting platform you should be using? Are you a beginner? Do you not have a whole lot of money for your podcast to start? Well, let me set your mind to rest by letting you know that Anchor is not only a free podcast hosting platform, but they also will distribute your podcast to Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, and so many, many more. They also have creation tools, so you have the ability to record and edit your podcast right at your fingertips, which you can do so on your phone, tablet, and computer. My favorite benefit of all is that you can also make money through Anchor. That's right, your dream of a money-making podcast is only a few clicks away. I promise you that Anchor is everything you need to make your podcast come to life. So come on, what are you waiting on? Time for you starts now. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. Good morning and welcome back to the Mindful Morning Show, episode 108. Today is August 6th and it's a Friday. I am Jasmine Lynn, your host, and today we are going to be talking about epileptic seizures, Todd's paralysis, and also some yoga poses you can do to prevent future seizures. So before we begin with the yoga poses that will help with seizures and preventing future seizures, I'm going to explain to you what Todd's paralysis is and what also grand mal epilepsy is. Both of these I struggle with and am diagnosed with, and they affect my day-to-day life. Sometimes the paralysis is so bad that it puts me in a wheelchair, and then eventually, once it starts to slowly recover, I use a cane or a walker to get around. So let me explain to you what Todd's paralysis is. Todd's paralysis is a neurological condition experienced by individuals with epilepsy, in which a seizure is followed by a brief period of temporary paralysis. The paralysis may be partial or complete, but usually occurs on just one side of the body. Todd's paralysis may also affect speech and vision, and for me, it does both. Scientists don't know what causes Todd's paralysis. Current theories propose biological processes in the brain that involve a slowdown in either the energy output of neurons or in the motor centers of the brain. It is important to distinguish Todd's paralysis from a stroke, which it can resemble, because a stroke requires completely different treatments. Unfortunately, there is no treatment for Todd's paralysis. Individuals must rest as comfortably as possible until the paralysis disappears, and that is actually what I do. Like I said, I use a wheelchair to help me move around on the days that I have where Todd's paralysis affects me the most, and then I gradually move on to a cane or a walker. And as long as my epilepsy is controlled, I can go a few more days without having to use something to help me walk around. Right now, currently, and another reason why I haven't been producing a lot of episodes is because of this condition. Right now, I can't even walk outside, and I'm using my wheelchair, and I try to use my cane in the house as much as possible. Prognosis for Todd's paralysis is an indication that an individual has had an epileptic seizure. The outcome depends on the effects of the seizure and the subsequent treatment of the epilepsy. So, what is grand mal epilepsy? Epilepsy is a chronic neurological condition wherein the brain activity becomes abnormal, causing seizures or fits or periods of unusual behavior, sensations, temporary confusion, staring spells, anxiety, fear, and sometimes even loss of awareness. Epilepsy can affect anyone of any age, regardless of the geographical location, race, ethnicity, gender, etc. Although doctors are yet to surface the exact cause of epilepsy, several studies suggest that it can happen, not help, due to head injury, trauma, brain damage from prenatal or perinatal injury, stroke, congenital defects, infectious diseases, genetic influence, autism, and more. According to a survey conducted by the World Health Organization, currently approximately 50 million people are suffering from epilepsy all over the world. So it is extremely essential to make people aware of the condition and reduce the number of affected people, since if the condition is left untreated or not managed on time, it can lead to complications like depression, which I have, suicidal thoughts, which I have had in the past, drowning, which if you have seizures, do not take a bath because you can drown if you have one and you're alone. If you have a seizure and you're alone in the bathroom. Status epilepticus, frequent episodes of a seizure lasting more than 5 minutes. And if one does last more than 5 minutes and you are with a person having a seizure, please get them to the hospital as soon as possible. And sometimes even death. Although epilepsy can be treated by taking anti-epileptic medications, I take clozapam and the generic of Keppra. But due to some side effects, people often prefer alternative remedies and preventive measures. One such timeless practice is yoga. The ancient Indian practice and physical discipline of yoga seeks to reestablish balance between the body and metabolic systems, while uplifting physical stamina and calming the nervous system. Practicing selective yoga poses on a regular basis not only improves circulation, respiration, immunity, and concentration, but also effectively manages epileptic attacks and also decreases its frequencies. So I would like you to grab a yoga mat and start unwinding yourself and managing this chronic condition with these yoga sanas that we are about to start. First, we are going to start our yoga sequence with a forward bending pose. While standing, bring the feet hip distance apart. Without bending your knees, slowly bend your body above the torso downwards. See that your knees are straight. You can allow your hands and hang down and rest your palms on the ground, or just hold your feet to the ankles. Hold this position for 8 to 10 breaths, then slowly get back to the standing position. Next, we will be doing the shoulder stand pose. I want you to lie flat on the ground, the legs laid side by side, and both arms resting on either side of the body. Swing your legs up in such a way so that your legs, buttocks, and hip is up in the air, and support your body with your elbows attached to the ground. While settling into the pose, ensure that the hold your body properly, keeping your legs and spine straight. Hold the pose for 30 to 40 seconds, while breathing normally. Slowly bring down your legs back to the shoulder stand pose. And if you would like, repeat 2 to 3 times. And if you are going to, then you can go ahead and pause or re-listen to this part of the segment. Now, I would like for you to remain laying on your back. We are about to do the fish pose. Fold your arms underneath your body. Lift your head and chest up. Breathe in, and then rest the crown of your head on the ground while arching your back. Maintain the balance of your whole body using your elbows. Inhale and exhale deeply, opening up the chest. Maintain this position for as long as you comfortably can. Once again, remain laying on your back. We are about to do the plow pose. Raise both legs above the stomach. Bend your body and try to extend your legs above your head. Touch the ground with the toes. Hold this posture for 10 to 15 seconds. Relax for a minute and repeat again. Now for our last pose, called the corpse pose. Lie down on your back and close your eyes. Relax your body and mind and think happy, peaceful thoughts. Take your time while you do this. Breathe normally and do not hold your breath. After some time, stand up. Thank you for doing that yoga sequence class with me for epilepsy, and I hope it helps you to decrease your epileptic seizures if you have this disorder. I thank you for listening to today's Mindful Morning Show, and I hope to see you once again tomorrow about 10 o'clock. Thank you, and have a great day. God bless. Slán.